Costs are still out of reach. And another thing that your administration is trying to tackle, many Americans, the average age of first-time home buyers are now up to age 40, which is sad. The country you and I grew up in.
I inherited that. Look, you have to understand.
Right, but let me get to the question, though, because your housing director has proposed something that has enraged your MAGA friends, which is this 50-year mortgage idea. So a significant MAGA backlash, calling it a giveaway to the banks and simply prolonging the time it would take for Americans to own a home outright. Is that really a good idea?
It's not even a big deal. I mean, you go from 40 to 50 years, and what it means is 50, you pay something less from 30. That some people had a 40, and then now they have a 50. All it means is you pay less per month. You pay it over a longer period of time. It's not like a big factor. It might help a little bit. But the problem was that Biden did this. He increased the interest rates. And I have a lousy Fed person who's going to be gone in a few months, fortunately. I have a guy too late, Jerome Powell, we call him too late. He was too late in everything, except when it came to before the, the so-called Democrat election, which didn't work. But we're going to get interest rates down. But even with interest rates up, the economy is the strongest it's ever been. You asked me, just to go back to the beginning of your question, you talked about prices. We're down on energy. We're down on interest rate. Interest rates are down despite the Fed. Now, if we had a normal person at the Fed would have really low interest rates, and we will soon have that.
Housing costs are...
Rates are coming down. I'll give everybody $100 if they don't come down. Interest rates will be 0 by June of next year. Mortgage rates will be somewhere under 3.5%. Rents are going to double in the next 15 years in America. They're going to go from $2,000 to $4,500 a month. There's going to be a fortune made in real estate. The American government's job is to make sure the American consumer has just enough money to pay their bills. And that's never going to change. I don't know why everybody fights this. This is a very simple game. Once we get over this little gold blip that we're having right now, we're going to have an explosion in Bitcoin.
I'm pleased to welcome back to the show Grant Cardone. He is the CEO of Cardone Capital and...
All right, shalom, shalom, shalom. All praises to the Most High, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, which is to say in the Paleo Hebrew, Yahweh, which is the name of our Heavenly Father, meaning He is, and that is who the world ignorantly calls God. Bahashem, which means in the name, Yahweh Shai, which means He is our salvation. And that is who the world also ignorantly calls Jesus, a so-called black man, who, by the way, only came for the Israelites, which brings us to our discussion / topic this late evening, okay? Because if you haven't heard by now, there's talk of a new mortgage structure of a 50-year mortgage from a 30-year mortgage so that your payments monthly can be lower, and it ain't going to be by much, only by maybe a few $100s or so, if you go and get you a 50-year mortgage as opposed to the traditional 30-year mortgage, okay? Now, here it is, 2025, and we're close to the end of this thing being wrapped up, which is Babylon the Great, this nightmare of an experience, and they're floating the idea out to the people, in particular, our people, the so-called blacks, Latinos, Native Americans that make up the Israelites, that now under this new and great administration led by Donald J. Trump, we're going to introduce a 50-year mortgage, okay? A more affordable, option of a 30-year mortgage, all right? But at the same rate of, let's just say, for instance, a 6% interest rate over that course of 50 years, you're going to almost pay back double what you lent on the house. All right. So if the bank gave you a house, if you went out and bought a house for $400,000 and you got a loan from the bank, over the course of those 50 years, you're going to almost have to pay back double of what you borrowed. All right, so if you paid $400, you're going to damn near pay back $800,000, all right, over the course of that 50-year mortgage. Now, there's talks of Trump getting the interest rates down to right around 1% or somewhere near 3%. And even so, that may be a great deal, but even so, Babylon, America won't be around that long for you to enjoy that 50-year mortgage, all right? That's the mindset you have to be in, because see, in this wicked society, in this wicked kingdom, Esau have you thinking that everything is smooth, everything is going okay, all right? That, yeah, you're going to be able to bounce back. You're going to have this tremendous, prosperous era in this time, this golden age, as Trump put it, if you would just, adopt the American mindset, okay? And that couldn't be further from the truth, because we know Babylon is done. And if you think Babylon got 50 years left for you to side with a 50-year mortgage, you need to check your temperature, all right? Because you might not be alive. This is Jeremiah 23 and verse 16. Thus saith Yahweh of hosts, hearken not unto the words of the prophets that prophesy unto you. They make you vain. They speak a vision of their own heart, and not out of the mouth of Yahweh. See? That 50-year mortgage, that ain't what's spoken of in the Bible. All right? Here we is in the end of this man's reign, and you mean to tell me you got enough time to enjoy a 50-year mortgage? Let's say he get us down to 1.4%. Okay, sure. It may be less expensive as renting, an apartment. As Kadom said, these apartments are going to go up to about $4,500 or so, because they got to what? Offset that low interest rate, all right? And you heard Trump in the first clip say that he's trying to get rid of Jerome Powell, all right, and bring in his own interest rate person. So let's say they drop the interest rate down to under 3%. Okay, still, 50-year mortgage, you think you got that much time left? The way this current system is constructive to enjoy a 50-year mortgage? Of course not. With jobs on the line being impacted by AI, you ain't going to have a 50-year mortgage, all right? You can just enjoy it for what it is, all right? Something to ride out the wave until the end is completely finished, okay? So you may find a 50-year mortgage with, let's just say, a 2.6% interest rate from a bank, all right? And your monthly payments come out to $2,600 a month. Whereas you renting an apartment and you paying $3,500 to $4,000 a month for a 2 or 3 bedroom apartment. It may be in that situation that getting a 50-year mortgage is better than renting, all right? But there's no such thing as job security, especially in today's market. And if you believe for one instance or 1 second that America, Babylon the Great, will be revived enough for you to enjoy a 50-year mortgage, man, check your temperature, all right? So let's read this again. Jeremiah 23 and 16. Thus saith Yahweh of hosts, hearken not unto the words of the prophets that prophesy unto you. They make you vain. See? That's all these is false prophets, man. Because America won't be around 50 years, Lord willing, Abaratazah, for you to really see the fruits of your labor, man. All right? We're supposed to be hasted in the day of the Lord. You go out there and you get your 50-year mortgage with the intention on seeing your fruits, flourish in this wicked society, this wicked kingdom. You're going to be sadly misled. All right? It says, hearken not unto the words of the prophets that prophesy unto you. Why? They make you vain. See? What else? They speak a vision of their own heart and not out of the mouth of Yahweh. Right? Because Yahweh said, which we're going to read in Jeremiah, just a few verses or chapters over, that there's no healing Babylon. All right? So how is Babylon going to reverse what the Lord is already setting forth for it to come? It ain't. All right? As it says in Isaiah the 55 chapter, my words will not come back void. That's the only way that this place would be healed. If you telling me that what the Lord says, Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai, ain't going to come to pass. And then we know what that person is about. As it says, let the Most High Yahweh be true and every man a liar, man. So we gon' solely rely on what the scriptures say, the words say. Yahweh, through his only begotten son, Yahweh Shai, said that Babylon ain't going to be healed. Hey, Babylon ain't going to be healed. Now, if you want to go out there and get you a 50-year mortgage, fine, go ahead and get you it. You know, if they drop the interest rates down to 1 or 2%, fine, go out there and get you it. It may be cheaper than renting at that point in time. But if you think for 1 second that things are just going to get better because of this, you're sadly mistaken, all right? Babylon won't be healed, okay? Your jobs that you think you got that's secure, you ain't going to have that for 50 years, all right? AI is coming into the scene, all right? You get that 50-year mortgage, guess what? It's going to be part of your trial, your test. Because why? You're going to have to get that RFID microchip to keep that house, all right? So then what? What is your plan of contingency once they roll out this digital system, all right? Because it's coming. It's in the scriptures, and we believe it. You know, those of us that are fighting to endure to the end, the elect. So what's going to be your plan of contingency when they roll out that microchip? And say in order for you to keep your 50-year mortgage and lower your interest rates, you have to take this microchip. See, then that's when it comes into place in 2nd Ezra, the 16th chapter, if I'm not mistaken. It says, then shall they be kicked out of their houses, and then shall it be known who are mine, okay? So it's coming, the time is coming, all right? And if you buying into this whole nonsense or madness that Babylon can be healed, in order to justify yourself going and getting a loan for a 50-year mortgage, hey, don't be surprised when you see things go the other way, all right? 50 years is a long time. We talking about it's 2025, so 50 years from now, that's 2075, all right? Man, you think America, the United States of America, also known as Babylon the Great in the Bible, will still be here in the year 2075? God, man, come on. Let's go to Jeremiah 51 in verse 7. This is Jeremiah 51 in verse 7. Let's jump up to verse 6. It reads, Jeremiah 51 and 6, flee out of the midst of Babylon and deliver every man his soul. Be not cut off in her iniquity, for this is the time of Yahweh's vengeance. He, Yahweh, will render unto her, Babylon, aka the United States of America, a recompense. Babylon have been a golden cup in Yahweh's hand that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine, her philosophies, her ideologies, her democracy. Therefore, the nations are mad. They're mad in the sense that they've adopted the ways of this system, and they're mad because they've been lied to. And they've seen the fruits that this place is bearing, and it ain't none. It's barren. Verse 8, Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. Howl for her. Take balm for her pain. If so be, she may be healed. See? If so be, she may be healed. A 50-year mortgage might look good then. If it was possible for this place to be healed. Yeah, a 50-year mortgage with a 0% interest rate. Let's just say, for example, that might look appealing, all right? But you got to also understand that in the housing market, you in the time of, trying to really sell your house, all right? Waiting on that correction, all right? Because you have impulses and you have corrections, all right? You don't want to buy when the market is at the highest. That's when you sell. You want to buy in the correction when the market goes back down to the low. See? So just in that nature alone, the prices for these houses are outrageous. Okay? That's why they offer you these 50-year mortgages. All right? You got a house that normally would cost $250,000 at most. They selling you for $500,000, man. See, the markets are due for a correction. All right? That's why they saying that what? Now, through Fannie Mae, you don't even have to have a good credit score to get a loan. All right? I mean, for a house. All right? So they're not even checking for a credit score anymore. So this lets you know that this place is finished, man. All right? They're selling you that illusion, that vain thought. It says, verse 8. Let's read this in a different translation. Jeremiah 51:8. It says, but suddenly, NLT, Babylon too has fallen. Weep for her. Give her medicine. Perhaps, maybe she can yet be healed. See, that's the sentiment for these Americans. All right? These Babylonians. See, they have the understanding or the expectations or the reasoning of this place that they know to be their home can be revived or rehealed through the acts of Donald J. Trump. So it says, perhaps she can yet be healed. Let's see what the Lord has to say about that. Verse 9. We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. She ain't going to be healed because why? This place has been preordained to be judged. It's destined to be destroyed. Forsake her and let us go every one into his own country. See? So these people, they're going to see these other nations. They're going to see when things really get close to that point, they're going to forsake this place. All right? They already starting to pull out right now. All right? But see, Trump's trying to give them that false sense of security. All right? That there's still something left here in America that he can revive and pull back up together. All right? But it ain't going to happen. It says, verse 9, we would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her and let us go every one into his own country, for her judgment reacheth unto heaven and is lifted up even to the skies. See? And then that's when Revelation 18 come into place. Okay? Verse 10, Yahweh have brought forth our righteousness. Come and let us declare in Zion the work of Yahweh our power. See? And we know this place ain't going to be here much longer, yet alone 50 years from now. All right? And then on top of that, you think you're going to have a job, a career with the way that AI is moving right now? Come on, man. See? You people just don't get it. All right? You just don't get it. There ain't no saving this place. There's no hope for Babylon. All right? Sure, you can use it, but don't abuse it. All right? Get what you can get out of it, but don't let it seduce you, all right, into believing that there's more to it than what it is. All right? This place is nothing but a cesspool of wickedness. Okay? And this is why it has to be judged and destroyed. All right? So this was our captivity. We were brought here for what? To be awakened to who we are and to repent before what? The great day of the Lord come, when judgment comes. All right? Nothing else. This is not our rest. Let's get that. Micah 2 and verse 10. See? This damn president, man, he'll make you believe that this is the place, man. This is heaven. The way he sells it. And that's a snake sales oilman. Or a snake salesman. It says Micah 2 and 10. Arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest. See? You ain't gonna get no rest with a 50-year mortgage, man. This place is gonna be finished. Now, if you want to rent, if you want to look at it as a rent, hey, take it and do with it what you will. All right. But to have that mindset that this place is gonna continue to go on for 50 years, so you can get that house and pay it off and pass it down to your children or whatever, You in the wrong mindset. We supposed to be hasting in the day of the Lord. So it says, arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest, because it is polluted. See, it's a cesspool of all type of wickedness. It says, it shall destroy you even with a sore destruction. Eventually, this place is going to be destroyed, man. It's written throughout the whole Bible. All right. Fire, missiles, arrows, lake of fire. All right. It's all coming to Babylon the Great, the United States of America. All right. So if you want to get a 50-year mortgage, go right ahead. Okay. But you can't say you wasn't warned. All right. Because if you putting all your hope and everything into this wicked, this broken reed, as it's spoken of in Isaiah, the 36th chapter, the 6th verse, you're going to be let down, man. All right? You're going to be let down, okay? So this place is finished, man. No 50-year mortgage. Damn, sure ain't no 30-year mortgage, man. All right? We supposed to be in the mindset of pilgrims, all right? We're going to have to be on the run. So how much more are you going to be, wanting to stay in a 50-year mortgage when all hell breaks loose, all right? You're supposed to be ready to up and leave this place, man. All right, as it says in 2 Ezra 16 and verse 40, make thyself ready for thy battle, and in those days be as pilgrims. All right, you got a 50-year mortgage, you tied down, man. And you know the so-called black woman Eve, man. She ain't gonna want to let go of this place. All right, that's why it says remember Lot's wife. Why? Because Lot's wife looked back. See, now I know brothers got wives and things like that, man, but hey, Eve ain't gonna want to let this go, especially she got a 50-year mortgage now with low interest rate. Oh man. And then let's say universal basic income is implemented. Man, she can feel like she's independent once again. See? But that's just the thing, man. This place is set up to deceive you. All right? That's why the Lord gave us servants, his prophets, to warn us of these things. All right? So arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest. Why? Because it is polluted. See, there's no healing this place, man. It's polluted. The only way you're going to fix it is you got to burn it, man. And burn it to where it's never inhabited by human beings again. It says, it shall destroy you even with a sore destruction. See? If you let it take over and get into you, it's going to destroy you. You're going to believe all the philosophies. You're going to go mad, just like the nations. All right? That was what happened to them. They went mad. They believed it. Okay? So we were once in that same mindset, proud to be an American, where at least I know where I stand, or however that song go. But see, we woke up to this truth. All right? And we know now that this place is going to be out of here. All right? So don't get fully invested in this place, man. That's why it says, give us this day our daily bread, okay? We're taking it day by day, man, because at any time, this place can just all of a sudden implode on itself, all right? So you want to get your 50-year mortgage, go ahead and get it. But, hey, move with the understanding that this place ain't here forever, all right? That's why it says what? Seek ye first the kingdom of the Most High. That's where your priority is supposed to be at. Your priority is supposed to be seeking the Most High. All right? Not trying to figure out a way how you can, get the best deals and the best this and the best that. And yeah, I found me a 50-year mortgage with 0.6% interest rate. And over the course of 50 years, man, I'm going to make out like a fat cat. See? And you ain't even seek the Most High. You didn't seek Yahweh through his only begotten son, Yahushua. To know that, although that may seem good on the surface, it's vain. Because why? This place ain't going to be around that long, all right? And if you do get a deal of a lifetime as you believe it, it's going to come with a caveat. You're going to have to get that what? That RFID microchip, and then what? You ain't going to have no clue on how to move after that. Because you ain't got the names. You ain't been serving the Lord with your whole heart, your mind. You ain't been seeking him while he may be found. So now you're going to be what? Fuel fire, all right? To help fuel this place when the missiles come, okay? So arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest, because it is polluted. It shall destroy you even with a sore destruction, okay? So be, Be wise to these things. Yeah, they sound good on the surface, but understand, all right? Seek the Lord first, man. All right? Seek the Most High Yahweh through his only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai, first. That's where your mindset's supposed to be at. Not trying to make this place your rest. St. Matthew 6:33 reads what? But seek ye first. Not, oh, I'm going to get me a 50-year mortgage. But seek ye first the kingdom of the Most High and his righteousness. This is our number one priority, man. And all these things shall be added unto you. See? And you know, you'll get a house or whatever or job, but all this is coming to an end anyways, man. So that's why we're seeking the Lord 10 times more. As it's spoken of, I believe, in the book of Baruch, the 4th chapter. All right? Seek him 10 times more. Because why? We're ever the most closer to the end. Now you worrying about getting they dropped the interest rate down to 0.6%. I'm going to go out and buy me that 50-year. I'm going to get me a loan. Fannie Mae ain't asking for no credit score. I'm going to go get me that 50-year loan. I'm going to get me a new car. See? I'm going to get all this, man. You ain't even thought to seek the Lord yet. See? But seek ye first the kingdom of the Most High and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. See? Then the Lord will let things fall into place for you. Naturally. You won't have to force it. You see? And you'll have the understanding to know how to move. All right? And you're supposed to be in the spirit of what? Hastening the day of our Lord. All right? Not trying to, prolong and put it off. No, I don't want the Lord to come back into 2078, 79 when I pay off my house. Then the Lord can come back. Lord, I just need you to stay out the way for 55 more years. Okay? I got a car I want to get, a 2026, and I got a house I've been looking for. All right? I got to look on the market and get this house when the correction comes and the market drops and the houses go for dirt cheap with a 50-year mortgage and a 0.1% interest rate. Just come back after I get that paid off, Lord. See? That's the wrong mindset to have. So it says, but seek ye first. You're supposed to be seeking the Lord for the answers, the truth, what's to come, so you can get in the right spirit. You're supposed to be in the house of mourning, not the house of mirth. It says, and his righteousness, all right? You got to find out what's the Lord's righteousness, okay? And all these things shall be added unto you, right? Because it says the Gentiles, for all these things do the Gentiles seek, for your heavenly Father knoweth that ye have need of all these things, right? The Gentiles seek for what? 31, therefore take no thought, saying, what shall we eat? That's the Gentiles' mindset when all hell breaks loose. How are we going to eat? It says, or what shall we drink? Where we going to get something to drink for? Or wherewithal shall we be clothed? What about our clothing? When all this, see, that's the mindset of a Gentile. But if you are seeking the Lord first, then you know the Lord going to take care of you. All right. You know the Lord going to provide food for you. You know he going to provide drink and clothes for you, because why? You've been seeking him. All right. And you see in Isaiah, the 65th chapter, the 13th verse, he tells you that. It says, my servant shall eat, but you shall be hungry. My servant shall drink, but you shall be thirsty. My servant shall have glory, but you shall be shamed. See? These are the words that give us the encouragement to know that if we seek the Lord first, he gonna answer our prayers, okay? He's going to answer our prayers, man. So we not flabbergasted, or we not shocked and surprised by a 50-year mortgage rate or a 50-year mortgage, and if they come out with a 3% or less interest rate. See, that's gonna make the Gentiles' ears perk up. Say, what? A 50-year mortgage rate with a 1.2% interest rate and no credit score? Oh man, I'm finna go get me this. And then the house market is gonna skyrocket it, all right? Only to what? Correct itself and crash, man. And then all those people, they're gonna be stuck with 50-year mortgage rates on a $700,000 house And when it corrects, they could have got that same house for a fraction of that, 200,000. You see? But it's neither here nor there, man. All right? You're supposed to seek the Lord first. That's what it's about. All right? Not to have that Gentile mindset. Okay? So let's go to 1 Peter chapter 5 and 8, and let's close this thing out. This is the book of 1 Peter chapter 5 and verse 8. It reads, be sober. See? How are you being sober? By seeking the Lord first and his righteousness. Be vigilant. How are you going to be vigilant? By seeking the kingdom of the Most High and his righteousness first, primarily. That's your primary goal, to seek the Lord first and his righteousness. Then secondary comes everything else. It says, be sober, be vigilant. Why? Because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about seeking whom he may devour. Oh yeah, we got a 50-year mortgage. Oh yeah, we're going to drop the rates down to less than 3% next year after Jerome Powell allegedly gets let go in May, all right? And I bring in my own guy. Oh yeah, the interest rates are going to drop down. We're going to make it where banks are going to give you loans. Man, if you've fallen for any of that, you've already been had, man. All right, we know Babylon is finished, man. All right, now we'll use this place up until the point in time when we can't. When they roll out that RFID microchip, all bets are off. Okay, no matter where you at. When they roll out that RFID microchip, all bets are off. We're no longer part of this system anymore. We out of it. All right, we're solely relying on Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai. All right, so up until that point, be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about seeking whom he may devour. All right? So always keep in mind, man, seek the Lord first. All right? Because this damn devil, man, hey, you got to put on the whole armor, because this damn devil, his trickery, his wiles are immaculate, man. He'll make you believe that this place can continue to go on for another 250 years. All right? Meanwhile, he's what's the word? I don't want to use scrambling, but meanwhile, he's, making up something in the back there. All right. He's putting together a plan, a scheme, he's scrambling up something in the back there, to bring forth. And and if you ain't right with the Lord, he going to get you. All right. He's going to whip up something in the back there, and you're going to believe whatever it is when he brings it to the daylight, when he brings it to the forefront, all right? So that's why we got to stay in this truth, okay? So we can be prepared and put on the whole armor of the Most High, Ephesians 6 and 12, all right? So that you may be able to withstand in the days that you may be able to withstand the wiles of the devil, man, all right? So we're going to end on that note. With that being said, pray some moments edified through this lesson. And until the next time, if it be the Lord's will, stay strong, stay in the faith. We're almost home. Shalom. Peace.